If you are a Microsoft Power Automate desktop developer, the tool you want to learn this year is ChatGPT. I'll show you all my best ChatGPT tricks in relation to Power Automate desktop. I'll show you how to set everything up, and in the end of this video we will build a very advanced use case. My name is Jensen. I'm a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional. Let's learn some Power Automate desktop and ChatGPT. Start by navigating to chat.openai.com. Here you will either log in if you already have a ChatGPT account or simply just sign up for a new account. This is the graphical user interface of ChatGPT. One thing you might want to do is to upgrade to ChatGPT Plus. Yes, it costs you $20 per month, but you get no downtime, faster response speed, and early access to new features. It's not necessary at all. I did it, as you can see here. Let's continue. Let me show you how powerful Power Automate desktop is in combination with ChatGPT. So I minimize this. On my desktop, I have a folder called Project. I double-click to open it. In there, I have 5 files. We are going to use all of them in today's video, so you might want to download them. I placed them in my OneDrive, and you can download them by clicking the link in the description below. Here I want to double-click the employees.xlsx Excel book. This is a simple data set. I have 31 rows, where the first row is a headers row. Column A, ID, that is just unique numbers. Column B, that is names randomly generated. And finally, we have column C, that is salaries. You can see that some of the salaries are missing. I want to create an automation that paints these cells, if they are empty, red. And by the way, I also generate a dataset with ChatGPT. Of course, we could solve this without ChatGPT, but let me show you how crazy fast it is with ChatGPT. So I close this. Then we go back to ChatGPT. Now I just need to tell ChatGPT about my problem. Then it will generate the Power Automate desktop solution for me. So I go down here. Then I create a prompt. I simply just start writing, create a VBScript that, and yes, I just write in human language. Shift and then press enter twice. That will make us line breaks without sending in the prompt. The first thing I want to do is that I want to find the range of the Excel sheet data. Then shift enter will give us a new line. Iterates through the data and paint all of column C's cells red if they are blank. This is our problem in a nutshell in human words, and don't worry about misspelling. ChatGPT will fine understand you. Now click enter. This will start generating your code. Here our script is about to be created. Here you can see we open up an Excel application. Then we open up an Excel book. And this is just a sample path. So this part of the script, we need to replace it with a variable or the direct file path. Down here, we are iterating through each one of the rows, and it even comments the code and says that you need to replace this path with your own. Go up here and copy code. Now we are ready to create our solution. We go to Power Automate Desktop. Click New Flow. I'll call this one ChatGPT. Click enter, and this will create our flow. So first, to run a VBScript, it's very simple. You just find a run VBScript, drag it in. Here, yes, we just need our code in here. So go down here, Control V, backspace. This is 24 lines of code that ChatGPT generated for us. What we want to change is this path, so let's go find it. I click Save, minimize this one here, minimize this, and my project folder is actually here. To get this path, I press Shift on my keyboard and right-click with my mouse. I repeat, Shift on my keyboard, right-click with my mouse. Here I want to find a copy as path. Go back to Power Automate Desktop. we will create a variable for the path as that is best practice. So I go up here and I'll find a set variable. I'll drag it in. Up here in the variable, I'll say Excel path as this is a meaningful name. In the value, I'll press Ctrl V. That's it. I remove the quotation marks in the end and in the start, like this. Here I click Save. Now this variable, we will use this name in our script. So I double click to open it down here. I will delete this example path here, and I'll go up to this X, double click the Excel path. Now we use the variable called Excel path, and yes, it holds the value of our Excel book. And I click Save. Let's try to run it. And yes, this is our entire solution. It took 2 steps. We could have finished it in 1 step if we wanted to hard code in the path in the VBScript. Let's inspect the data and let's see that we actually solved our mission. There you go. It's that easy to use ChatGPT with Power Automate Desktop. I mean, how fast and how many actions would this have taken you if you would have had to use Power Automate Desktop native actions? I don't even think you can do this. So yeah, crazy powerful, and you can do much more things. Sometimes you need to refine the scripts a bit, but yeah, crazy fast. Let's continue. So I close this one here. Another thing that's very powerful with ChatGPT, let's move back, scroll down, is that we can have ChatGPT to explain us difficult things. For example, I can say explain a web request, click enter, then an explanation of that topic comes in. Yes, it will probably be 10 lines, but it is a nice way to learn. Let's say that this is a bit too advanced. I want to understand things quicker. What I always do here is that, let me start writing, I'll say explain a web request like I'm 10 years old. Now it will suddenly write in a language that I can understand, and I can understand it easily. Of course, I know what a web request is, but that's how I speed learn a lot of things related to RPA development. Here it gives a library example. Another thing we will use the graphical user interface of ChatGPT here is we will use it to write cover letters. That's right. Let's go on LinkedIn and find a job. So I just move to linkedin.com. That will take me to my LinkedIn profile. Here I click jobs. Let's go search for an RPA developer job. So I just say RPA developer. Over here, I'll say United States. This will give me a list of RPA developer jobs. Let's just pick the first one. This is just an example. So what I do here is that I copy all of this job post, Control C, and I go back here. And here I need to give it a prompt. So what I'll say here is that I'll say create a cover letter for the below job post. Shift enter, Control V. I pasted it in. Then I can just click enter. And yes, now it starts creating our cover letter. Of course, we haven't told about our skills. And right now it will just generate a cover letter based on this job post, but we can modify it. We can start adding in our own qualifications, and let me just finish this and then we will see how it will edit it. So to edit a response, I go up here and click this little edit icon. Now I can edit it here. Create a cover letter for the below job post. So in front of this, we will say shift enter. And I'll say, I'm 43 years old. I live in Copenhagen. My skills are, I don't know, .NET, SQL, and working in a team. Just the random little things. We can add all the things that we want. Now we scroll down, say save and submit. and a new cover letter will be generated. Here you can see that we are now having skills in .NET, SQL, working in a team, blah, blah, blah. And yes, we can customize it further, but this is just to give you an idea of how you can use it as a Power Automate desktop developer getting jobs. Now for the advanced part. We want to use ChatGPT directly in a Power Automate desktop flow. That is through an API. So I go down here, and what I will do is that if you want to save these two, you can click the first one, click Shift in, click the second one, right click, disable action, then you'll have them as if you want to save them. But we want to do an API call directly to ChatGPT. So up in Actions, you will find an invoke web service. This is an API call. We will need a URL. And this is the endpoint. That is, we want to call ChatGPT. This URL from ChatGPT changes all the time. So what you want to do is that you want to go to this address up here, and then you will grab this. So this is the one that works right now. Again, all these links to these things, I gathered them here in the project folder. This one will be in the links. So we will take this URL, we will go back here, and then we'll Control-V, paste it in. The method that is post, that is because we want to send some data to ChatGPT. Then we want to specify how our data is formatted. Our data will be formatted in JSON, and we will also get JSONs back. Then we need some custom headers. This is our authentication, and all this is actually in the documentation from the OpenAI, that is the ones that invented ChatGPT. But here you will just say authorization, colon, then you say bearer, have a space, and now we need an API key. Go back to my browser. To find your API key, go to platform.openAPI.com/account/API keys. And again, this link is also in our links in this folder. So here, click Create New Secret Key, and we'll copy it here. By the way, let me just show you something. If you click Usage up here, you'll get $18 in a free account. That is, you can use a lot of these requests through the API. You can, in fact, use 900,000 words or approximately there. So that's a lot, and you'll probably never use them. Now let's use the API key in our flow. I go back here. Here we will just store it directly into this header, but you might want to store it in a secure place in a production flow. I'll just Control-V. And yes, I will delete this API key once we're done with the video. Then we need a request body. And the best configuration you will find here, that's also a part of the 5 files. We will just use this. Maybe I can tell you a little bit about what this is. This is the information that we send to ChatGPT. The model, that is just the model that we use from ChatGPT or OpenAI, in fact. The prompt, here I use a variable, can you see? User input. That is with these %sign. That is a Power Automate desktop variable, or it will be once we implement it in our flow. Max tokens. Here we will have 1,000. As I told you, we have 900,000 tokens for free, and 1,000 tokens is about 750 words, so around 600,000, 700,000 words for free. That's a lot. You can also, down here in stop, you can define up to 4 words. If ChatGPT fails them, it will stop use more tokens. So we will just have it null, we will have no stop words. Copy in this body, go back here, Control-V it in. And here you can see we have this user input variable. Because we haven't created them, when we click save in a little while, we will get an error. We just need to create this. One thing that is very, very important. Go down here to advanced. In encode request body, make sure you untick this, otherwise it won't work. Scroll down to the bottom. The variable that we want to look at especially is the web service response. Here I can click save, and yes, we got the error as expected. So now let's take some user input that we can use to send to ChatGPT. Here I will have a display input dialog. Drag this one in here. I could give it a title. I'll say ChatGPT. What this action does, it takes an input from the user and then it will store it in this variable called user input. Yes, it's called the same thing as here, but we could of course just rename this to user input 2 or whatever you wanted. And then you just need to change it here in your invoke web service. Input dialog message. Here I'll say ask ChatGPT about something like this. So, and the variables produced, again, that was user input. The button pressed, that will log whether the user clicked OK or cancel. That might be useful because if the user clicks cancel, we don't want to launch this invoke web service. For now, let's just disable it, make it as simple as possible. Then I'll click save. Now we are ready. Now we have integrated ChatGPT directly in our flow. So here I will say, tell 3 nice facts about India. And I can click OK. Then it will take like a few seconds. And over here in the web service response, I'll double click here. This is the data that we get back. And let me just expand this and show you where we want to look. So here you see, India is the world's largest democracy with a population of over 1.3 billion, blah, blah, blah. Not blah, blah, blah about the facts, but let me just show you how to interpret this and use it in Power Automate Desktop. So I go up here, click Control A, Control C. We now have it in our clipboard. I click close. Then I go to my browser again. Here I'll go to JSON Crack. That is jasoncrack.com/editor. This is a simple JSON beautifier. That is because the data that we get back is in a JSON format. So what I do here is that I Control V, paste in my response. This is, by the way, in a JSON format. Over here we have the visualization. This JSON Crack is very nice at this. What I want to do is that at the parent level, I want to find the choices. That is here. The choices is an array. You can see that by these hard brackets. We only have one element in this array, and that is this element. And yes, it's still an array. It's just an array with one element in. Here I want to say I want to go and find the text because here we have our facts. And let me just show you it's out here. So what we will do here is that we'll say go into choices, pick the first item that is 0 because it's 0 indexed, and then find the text. Let's do that in Power Automate Desktop. This is a JSON, and Power Automate Desktop needs a custom object to work with. That is very easy to do. So what I'll do here is that I'll find a convert JSON to custom object. I will drag it here. So what do we want to convert? That is this web service response that was generated up here. I click this X, web service response. The variables produced, that will be a JSON as custom object. I'll click save. Now we have it as a custom object. We can get the text out. So what I will do here is that I'll just find a display message. Let's just see that it's possible. Then we will see a very nice use case later on. So drag in a display message. And here I will just say, I want a JSON as custom object. I double click this. Then I want to say, I want to get the choices. So I'll have a hard bracket, single quotation marks. I'll say choices, single quotation marks, hard bracket. Then I wanted the first element, that is hard brackets 0. And then I want to move into the text. Let me just show you this again. So what I wanted to do, I want to say, I want to go into the choices, get me the first element and go into text. That is all we're saying here. Let us click save. Let us run it again and see that we can interpret the data. So here I will say, tell me 3 nice things about Denmark. Yes, that is my country. Where are you from? So I will click enter. Then it will take like 10-15 seconds. There you go. We have now formatted the data. So We click OK here. Let's test ChatGPT. We want to create a really advanced example. This example is actually suggested by Johan. Thanks, Johan, for the nice suggestion. Johan says that we can analyze incoming data, to example, a help desk. Then we want to extract the data out of the incoming data. That could be from an email. We also want to analyze the tone in it, say that the customer is angry or happy, and then we want to respond. We want to extract the information out to a JSON string so we can easily get it into our third-party system. Let's see how it's done, and I really want you to create this because this shows you the power of ChatGPT. So we go back to our flow again. Here we will delete the display input dialog in a little while. So first we get incoming emails. We will not use Outlook here, but I'll just use a sample email. You could literally just use Outlook if you want. Here we want to say, open up the current email, still in the files. You can download them from the description below. This is our email we want to do analysis on. So here it says, hi, Private Bank of USA. Why aren't you replying to my emails? You charge my account $1,000 in fees for no reason. What are you thinking? I've also ordered a secondary account in euros and I need it created urgently. I will find another bank if you have not responded in 2 days. Regards, Jens Andersen, and account number. So here we definitely want the account number to be extracted, the name, and then we want the issues as well. We also want to say the tone here is not that good. So let's do that. We go back here. We need to do a couple of things. First, we'll need to grab the email. And again, you could use the Outlook activities, for example, or the Exchange ones and grab the emails from there. We will just hard code in an email in a set variable. So we drag it in here. I will call this current email like this. And then I will go over here and open this one again. I will copy it out. Move back here, Control V. This is just my email. This could be literally from any source. It doesn't even have to be email. So now I save it. Then we need to do something about it because let me just make a breakpoint here. Let me run it. That means that the flow will stop here. Double click here. Yes, we have these line breaks. We cannot use them in our incoming JSON string to ChatGPT. That will not be a valid JSON, so we need to do something. That is in fact very easy. So I click close and I click stop. I need to replace these line breaks with a /n because ChatGPT interprets a /n with a line break. So we have the current email and then we just need a replace text and I drag it in here. So here the text to parse, that will be my current email. That was the email. So I click this X and double click here. Now I need to find the line breaks, and in Windows it is /r /n. I'll use the regular expressions because this is regular expression, and then I just want to replace it with a /n. That is all I have to do. Here I want to save it in a replaced variable. Let us just rename this. So I'll say current emailed replaced like this. So now I have my email. Then I will do the prompt include this email and I'll use it down here in the invoke web service. So find another set variable, drag it in right after this replace text. So what do we want to work on? Well, this will be the user input that we will use in the prompt. So I just click this X, double click the user input. What do we want to put in here? And we could write it. I also saved this one for you. That will be the sentiment prompt. Double click to open it. Here it says, get the personal information about the customer. Analyze the tone in the email, the type of inquiry, and highlight the most important topics with a short description. Place all the outputs in a JSON format. Then we'll have a new line, and here comes our email. You're more than welcome to copy this from the files again. So Control A, Control C, and then we'll just paste it in here. So here we say we prompt what we want to ask ChatGPT about, And down here, the current email replaced, that was our email with no line breaks in. And we save it into user input. And again, we will use that user input here in the invoke web service as we see here. Now we can delete this display input dialog, delete it, then click run. And we will contact ChatGPT with our help this inquiry. It will take some seconds and then we will have our response back. Here you go. And let me show you how powerful this is. It says customer information. Here we have the customer information. Then we have the tone, it's frustrated. We have a complaint, that is the type of inquiry. Then we have the topics. The topics are unanswered emails, fees charged, and he wants to open up a secondary account. Think about how powerful this is and how little effort we made. If you want to solve more advanced Power Automate desktop problems, then you should join the I Love Automation Discord. We are more than 6,000 RPA developers helping each other with careers and problems. Your guide and invitation is right up here.